With artist Tonel, and we're talking about the installation of his work, the parts of me that sweat the most when I get nervous, which, Tonel, what's the, how do you say that again in Spanish?
Las partes que más me sudan cuando me pongo nervioso.
Okay. And so this project is part of the collaboration between Koerner Library and the Morrison Helen Belkin Art Gallery. Library projects art in the library, and so just to put this work into a little bit of context, can you tell me a little bit about the name of this work and sort of how you came to that, and what maybe feeds into the overall meaning of the work for you?
Well, the title is, it's a description of the image that we see, which is it's a self-portrait, and you see the body of this character, the front and the back, sweating, and I think it's related to self-portrait, which is something that I have gone back in my work through the years, trying to really create a character that would be recognizable, that people could identify with me, but at the same time is someone who could be a generic human being, I hope. So the things that this character goes through and the things that happen to him are things that maybe could be considered experiences that many people share, many human beings go through themselves. And the other thing that I believe is important in the work, aside from the self-portrait side of it, is the way the piece deals with the human body, which is also important to me. The idea that the human body and the physiology and the physical aspect of the human body, I believe, is something that makes us more human. Sweating, transforming things physically in our body, the chemistry of the body, the way that things go through it, how it has to do with our, everyday life, our survival, but also how that's so interconnected with culture in terms of habits, the way we dress, the way we eat, or the way that a toilet is designed, the way people gather in social spaces. All of that, I believe, is at least in part determined by how we function physically, and that's important in my work.
So given kind of what you were saying about the kind of personal relationship that you have, the kind of the idea of the body and how important that is to your work, how do you feel about putting this image in a big public space like the Koerner Library?
Well, I think it's a peculiar space for the audience, mostly the people who come to use the library, also the people who work here, of course, to relate to this work, to the image and the work. I think it's interesting. Libraries are places where there are designated areas, sometimes for group study, but for the most part, It's a place where people come to kind of isolate themselves, to be very focused and very absorbed in studying, reading, thinking. So libraries are more of a site to enhance the intellectual aspect of human beings, of humanity. And then the work is really more about the physical side of humanity in the first place. Although at some point you realize that it's also about, the feelings of human bodies and how those relate to the physiology of the body. But in any case, most people who use the library are not naked. And we don't know for sure how many of them are going to be anxious or nervous. So it's an image that maybe will confront the audience, will tell them about something that might not be in their minds when they come to this space. Mm-hmm. And I like that idea. I like the idea of having a work that is not directly, immediately related to the use and the function of the space where it's placed, but will create other awareness in the audience when they see it.